Welcome to BikeSocial. Thanks for joining me. I'm Michael Mann and this is Oulton Park. And in today's video, I'm going to be riding not one, not two, but three rather fast Honda Fireblades. Here we have it. We've got the road bike, the SP. We've got the Tom Neves Superstock bike, and we've got the Glen Irwin Superbike, and here I've got the Glen Irwin. Mate, what a day we've had. I mean, it's kind of, you know, from my perspective, this is lottery winners type of stuff. All right, I'm a professional journalist, so I'm lucky. I know how lucky I am to get to do this. But we've been able to ride all three bikes. I have, you have. What a day. I mean, we've got away with it weather-wise. The circuit's been amazing. I've had you to follow, and Tom's been involved.
I've had you to follow.
Lucky you.
That's good.
You've had a chance to ride this originally when it first came out a couple of years ago, and just over a year, wasn't it? And then we did the press launch at Qatar. Does it still impress you as a road bike? You know, a road bike for the track?
Very much so. You know, in the times I rode it before, once was on Superstock racing tyres and once was on slicks. So to come here and to start the day on a complete road bike with road-going tyres, and it was a new experience for me. It's not something I've really done in the past, but yeah, always mind blown by it. You know, looking forward to. I know we've done some data logging on all three bikes in comparison to lap times, and you know, you have an idea what you can do in this. You have an idea what Tom can do in that, and you think that we can do that. This, no idea.
When you say we, you mean you. There's no chance I can do what Tom can do.
Yeah, but I guarantee you the difference, even what you've done on this compared to the Superstocker, and even to this, it's probably not like this really impressed me today. Really, really impressed me. Tom's bike was good. Funny jumping onto it. You know, you're perhaps the most experienced rider in the team, and you're hopping onto your teammate's bike, and he's more younger and up and coming, and you know what he's done on it, and you're thinking, I have to go faster. But the bike felt great. The Superbike, obviously my favourite one. After riding these two, this bike works at its best when you're on it. But for me, not so good until you're on it. So after spending time riding around, you know, perhaps 10 seconds off my Superbike pace on the road bike, which I think is a credit considering the tyres, until I get through that barrier, as such, the Superbike felt a bit different. You know, it's more rigid. And it's more rigid for a reason, because you can push it harder, and the limit and the level is much higher on this bike. But it takes, for me, to get through that to feel the benefits of the Superbike. Yeah,
but even so, presumably it took you a while then to get to the benefits of the road bike. I mean, you took really the main difference between them, other than power and weight, is tyres, right?
Yeah, no, the biggest thing...
or the limiting factor, perhaps.
I would love to try the road bike on a Superstock tyre to see what you can do against the Superstock bike. Road gearing, leave the ABS, everything, you know, on, because it's impressive. It would be a great safety addition on the road, but it doesn't spoil the fun on the track. If anything, some people that are going to use the bike for track days and commuting, you know, we were able to go to a reasonably fast lap time today. The ABS doesn't ruin it, you know, at all. It's very good, I'd say, very good.
Take the mirrors off, take the lights off, take the registration plate off, put some Superstock tyres on it.
You think I'm taking them mirrors off when you're behind me? No chance. But yeah, no, honestly, like this bike as it is right now, put National Superstock 1000 tyres on it, and I'm sure, change the gearing, okay, put race gearing on it, you could put this top 10 Superstock 1000 qualifying.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that impressive.
Certainly moving from the road bike to the two race bikes, you appreciate actually how all manufacturers got to conform with these Euro 5 regulations, which is, you know, for good reason. Yeah. You can feel that the road bike is somewhat strangled, can't you? Especially with, well, perhaps with the gearing, but also when you compare to the liveliness of the throttle on the two race bikes.
Strangled's you know, a word probably when I think of being strangled, it would be a negative experience.
But you feel like it's got more go.
Yeah,
There's definitely something in there if it wasn't
But
restricted.
what I do after riding superbikes, when we do a lot of throttle mapping and making particular tracks like this with a lot of undulation, the strangled feeling of the road bike is like, oh, this is a dream. You know, the power delivery is so smooth. You know, the beauty of this is it has the power. It has the 215 brake horsepower, you know, whatever it may be, as a road bike. But it's very usable. You know, you don't want to go out on the public road and be, bam! You know, this was a dream to ride today. That characteristic, you know, parts of this bike are on my Superbike right now. You know, this swinging arm, standard swinging arm, I'm using. I prefer to anything else I've used. Credit to Honda. So, you know, what people go and buy out of the showroom and ride around the road, you know, it's so similar from the back half. It's so similar to what I raced.
Honda weren't shy, were they, when they unveiled this and said, here's our new Fireblade. It's pretty much a race bike with some mirrors.
Yeah.
And because they wanted success on the track. And obviously,
Yeah.
fresh out the box last year, you gave them a great deal of success and ran the championship so close, didn't you? But do you feel as though when you get on this, you can bully it a bit more?
Yeah, you get a lot more feel as such. It's a road bike is always a bit softer as such. Bullying's probably, you don't maybe need to bully this. The Superbike you would have to bully more because it might try to bully you, but you know the chassis is so, you know, frame identical to the road bike, swinging arm identical. I've Superbike forks, Superbike brakes, slightly higher spec engine, but I raced with this engine all last year, completely stuck.
The chassis on this is certainly sublime,
they are so
isn't it?
similar. I think the biggest difference from what I feel today, and perhaps you know, like when I hopped on the Superbike, I was like, oh, it feels so different. It's going to the big slick tyres.
Yeah.
You know, the Superbike itself is the bike is fantastic, and
Let's talk about Tom's bike, can we? So you had a spin on that. You had a fair few laps.
might be replacing him. Might be swapping rules after today. He's maybe faster on the Superbike.
I'm sure he'd be keen.
Yeah, no, it was his birthday. I seen him shouting that he wanted a spin. He actually got on it before it got wheeled into the box, and yeah, I felt sorry for him. Everyone deserves a birthday present.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look, I've got to ride it today. Why shouldn't he?
Yeah, look, this bike, really impressive.
So the big differences between that and this? It's a bit lighter, it's a bit more powerful.
Kit ECU, fork internals, that's it. Same engine.
Yeah.
You know, so your mapping is different with the Kit ECU.
Power's up, weight's down.
Yeah, lighter, you know, less wing mirrors, you know, stuff like this, lights and everything are off. Very impressive bike.
Such a direct throttle action as well. As soon as you come off of this onto that, it's immediate, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's immediate, the more power, but
It's lively too.
Yeah, it's very controllable. Jumping onto this today, it really impressed me. You know, last year Tom struggled at Oulton Park, and you know, we thought maybe it is because Davey struggled as well. You know, is it a Honda not good here? But yeah, the bike was. We were pleasantly surprised by this bike today. No, pleasantly surprised is the wrong word. I knew the bike's going. All three bikes from like where it's born to where it evolves. The step is great in all three of them, but the lap time that came so quick in this today. You know, I haven't raced a Superstock 1000 bike ever. I don't ride these tyres, and this gave me confidence to go reasonably quick. And you can't do them things on bad bikes. You know, I'm a realist. You cannot do it. You can't go fast on what is a bad bike. These bikes are class.
You're also a racer at heart, aren't you? So presumably you wanted to roll down pit lane on this and kind of almost like a prove a point to yourself, let alone the team.
Yeah.
As a racer, as a professional who you know, you get on a race bike, and despite the lack of understanding of what it's about, the tyres particularly, you still gave it a good go.
It's good, yeah. You go out and you get stuck in, you look down your first lap time and you're like, oh, Flo, I can't come in, and Tom wants me to give some feedback on the bike. I can't come in and tell him that when I'm doing that pace. Okay, let's go quicker. And when I wanted to go quicker, it allowed me to go quicker. Every single lap we were shaving 6/10 or whatever, and you know, very comparable with Tom's times, and it's good because it's gave him some information to look at. So yeah, no, it's good. Like, I know we all enjoyed riding the road bike. As Tom said, flip the road bike, you can go bloody hard on it. So yeah, probably pick the choice for me. Buy one of these in the showroom, go on the old internet, book a track day, away you go, ride home.
I do.
You don't even need to put race tyres on that.
No, no, those, and they heat up so quickly.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they were meant. The bike's just class. You know, I'm not saying that because I'm contracted to Honda. You know, I am that honest. If it wasn't good, I would say it. You could get in trouble. But No, it's good. I thoroughly enjoyed riding this. I thoroughly enjoyed riding that, and we've a little bit more filming to do and stuff. So I think we'll get a little bit more of a play on this, and I know we'll go and ride through the barrier where the Superbike can feel rigid, and suddenly it feels amazing. And when you're singing on this, it feels so good.
Of course, I can never get to that kind of level. I wouldn't understand how to push it to its limits, or to get to the fractions of the seconds that you're looking for when you'll go out in an FP1 and FP2 at a race weekend.
You can still compare it. It's your level, your pace, so you will feel, you don't need to be doing my pace. You'll feel at your pace. What did you feel?
Well, yeah, coming into today, it's nice being reverse interviewed. Coming into today, I was obviously nervous, apprehensive. I kind of feel okay with this bike. I've done enough time on it. I've done a few track sessions on it, but even so, I've not ridden here for 18 months and whatever else. And then you've kind of got a big transition to the Superstock bike, certainly with that throttle connection, certainly with the power of the brakes by comparison, and you can feel that weight difference. It's a little lively at the front. You can still get it in, you can still get it turned fast, and you can be a bit more aggressive, so again, from my level. And then, of course, the Superbike's just...
The beauty of it.
Yeah. But you roll down pit, you get on it, you roll down pit lane, you think, you're kind of super nervous about not making a wally of yourself and not putting it in the gravel.
No, I think you've all done a great job today. Oulton Park is not an easy place to come to. Not one spill. Testament to you guys, to the rest of the journalists that were here. Testament to the bike as well. What
we'll do next, mate, then we'll go and have a look at the data. We'll work out your sort of differences between 1, 2 and 3, and then my differences.
But you're going to do that really fast, because I'm going shopping, which I'm going to remind you about again, and you're going to text me the lap times.
True, yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's do it, and then we'll catch up in a bit.
Thank you very much.
And here we are, back at the scene of the crime, and the results are in, which are hardly unsurprising, but it's quite a good fun to analyse them to a degree. Maybe not for you, but it's for me.
Yeah, no, it's great. It was nice to do like the manner that we done it. Yourself, myself, had to go in the road bike. Compared our lap times and that with the road tyres. We done it in the stock. We done it in the Superbike, rid together a bit, and then I think I had a play on my own with it on the road bike with slicks. So really enjoyable, and something I don't get to do a lot.
So let's get straight to it, really, because I know it suffers too much embarrassment. But we can caveat it quite easily by saying, Oulton Park's such a tricky track to learn, and it's undulating, and it's twisted, and it's difficult when you've got all that horsepower. But on the road bike, on the completely standard, still got its mirrors, still got its registration plate almost, you did a 44.7, 1 minute 44.7. How are you feeling about that?
Really happy, because we use road tyres, and when you're a racer and you switch to road tyres, like the performance level is completely different. Now, in saying that, once you got used to them, they really aren't so bad. But with the road bike on road tyres to go around in a lap time, I remember coming here in a Thundersport race in 2009 in a Supersport and winning it doing a 44. And I was trucking on then. So to go around and do that on the road bike, I guess it shows you how much bikes have evolved, and in particular how good the new Honda Fireblade is. I said that from day one. I said it from Qatar. It's a very special bike, and yeah, I think it's good. What do you think?
I'm really impressed, actually, because you don't get to ride it that much in completely standard road form, and there you are. You went out on road tyres. Again, you're unfamiliar with road tyres, and I got to ride behind you for a little portion of that, just to see you mucking up. I was trying my hardest. I was sweating my pants off.
So was I.
Messing around, waving at people, and yet you're still, in such great control of the bike. It was fantastic to see and fantastic to learn from as well. And just to put it into context, my best time of the 5 laps that I'd completed was a 55.7. So it's 11 seconds off your pace, which, breaking it down, I'm not.
It's good.
Sounds a lot.
I always say this, like if we go to a track day, we don't really do it so much anymore. You can go and you can see guys that maybe catching 20 seconds a lap, and you catch up on them. Them boys can still ride motorbikes. You have to remember we're at the top level. This championship, whether it's BSB, World Superbike, America, MotoGP, barring the aliens, we're all a very similar sort of level of racers, and it's a very high level. So to go out and be 11 seconds over nearly 3 miles of circuit, I think it is, maybe it's 3 miles. It's no mean achievement, no whatever that word is. You know, you've done a good job, I'll just say that. Well done.
Thank you very much. It is a tricky,
Passed the test.
it's a genuinely tricky circuit to learn, isn't it? There's so many lines into so many corners, and you've got to it's almost where your line into, even if it's turn 1, determines your pace and the ability to get into 2, 3. It flows like that, doesn't it? A bit like Donington, you almost got to put the piece it together.
There's lots of little secrets to it, and there's some things that you think you should be doing, and only this week analysing before coming to round 1 and seeing what other people are doing, and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that. And I've been coming here 12 years now, and I'm still learning. It is a very natural track, as are all BSB tracks. There is a style that it takes to ride Oulton Park, and then there's also a style that it takes to ride a superbike, and it's implementing that with the circuit. Like, I know at one point of the lap, I'm sure we'll get on it, at one point of when we compared the superbikes, you were faster than me in one of the corners. You know, not to burst your bubble, but there was a reason, why I was slower, and it's all them little things is how you go around this place fast and how you get a superbike to go fast.
Before we move on to that bit, and just for comparison, 44.7 is what you did on the standard road bike. On Tom's Superstock bike, which again, to caveat it, you've never ridden before, have you?
No.
So you went out on it and you banged in, half a dozen laps or so, and you've done a 38.1, which is, again, highly respectful.
Yeah, I was happy with that. You know, I think at that stage it was quicker than what Tom had done, which, you know, I didn't really, maybe that was a bit demoralising for him, but we worked really good together. He's got a great attitude, and I love having him in this team. You know, we're teammates, but he's in a younger class as such, so it's great to be with someone that is open-minded and seen that and didn't go, oh, you know, he was more proactive and positive. How did you do that? What did you think of my bike? And yeah, 38.1, 5 laps on a stocker, you know, that bike could easily go around here on a 36 in a race weekend and win a race. So very impressive, you know, jumping on the stocker from the road bike. It felt, let's say, more rigid straight away, because you have, like, your suspension is altered, you know, from internals and point of view, so the bike's a bit stiffer. The tyres are stiffer because you're on the race tyre and not a road tyre. It was really, really impressive, but you know, I also rid the road bike, you know, which we'll get to as well. And the road bike, to me, with the mirrors and everything, honestly feels every bit as good as the Superstock bike, and I'm not lying. The road bike, we talked about what we did on the road bike with the road tyres, and then we jumped on the stocker with the treads. The road bike on the treads, we haven't done that. We've done road bike on slick. I think could do the same time as the stocker.
Really?
Yeah, like, it has road gearing, so let's say you put the same gearing on. Honestly, it's such a nice bike to ride, and I'm not saying that because I wear a Honda cap. You know, I'm honest, if it wasn't good, I'd probably get in trouble for saying it's not good. It's so impressive.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, I have spent a bit of time, or quite a lot of time, on the road bike, and then to jump on the Superstock bike, the biggest difference is the gearbox.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got more power. Yes, it's a little bit lighter, and yes, it's a bit more rigid, but the gearbox is a big difference, and I can say that.
You're quicker on the road bike, aren't you, than the Superstock bike?
Yeah. We'll come on to that.
Michael, you're not getting the most out of the tyres.
I was going to say my embarrassment till the end. But so we're jumping around a bit here. All right, so to recap, road bike, normal, it's completely standard OE tyres, 44.7. Then you put some slicks on it. You made no changes, except for slick tyres on the road bike. What a difference. Do you want to announce that? Because that's a big difference.
Yeah, a 39.0 on the road bike with slick tyres. So
5.7
registration
seconds.
plate, everything, 5.7 seconds quicker, all in the tyres.
Just by a set of tyres.
39.0 around here is a really reputable time. You know, on 1,000cc, you know, I think 36 somewhere is a lap record type thing. You know, if you came here on a race weekend, and I'll just put it like this, let's say you put race gearing in that, just alone, and have more time on it. Like, you know, when we come here at the beginning of a weekend, we do a certain time after 6 laps. By the end of the weekend, we're going 2 seconds a lap quicker. So what I've done here is really impressive, but there's no way we can say that's
not the bar, is it?
That can't be the bar, pinnacle. Because if you ride that for 2-3 days,
yeah,
that blew my mind, because I was having a lot of fun on it, and I made some mistakes. I was enjoying the normal clutch and things, and playing about and using the clutch. You don't have to, but I was, and backing it in, and I thought, okay, the purpose of this was to do a lap. I'll do a nice clean lap, nothing crazy. Came in and they're like, what do you think you done? And I know there was one of the bosses from Honda Europe was here, and like they were all like really impressed. I thought, what have I done? 39.0. So I'll let you. What do you think of that? You've rid all the bikes. You're probably more impressed.
I mean,
than
it's
me.
ridiculous to see the time difference between a Superstock bike, you know, an out-and-out race bike. Fine, it doesn't have slick tyres, but
The slicks didn't matter, honestly. The road bike, if you gave it Superstock tyres, would have been the same time. I wasn't going to the limit of tyres, so it would do the same.
But the standard road bike is within a second of the Superstock bike.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying here.
And that is with road gearing. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
in first gear on 5 corners. First gear at Shell, first gear at the first chicane, Hizzy's chicane, exit of it at Knickerbrook, and at the last corner. Some people in racing would be in third gear coming out of Knickerbrook. We were in first, and no one likes going to first gear because you always go through neutral. You know, so there's a bit in that and a bit in this, and yes, it's impressive, isn't it?
And of course, first gear on that bike will easily do 100 miles an hour.
Oh, you can stay in first the whole lap, can't you? It's definitely on the long gearing side, isn't it?
So go on then. So Superstock to Superbike, and all right, we only did half a dozen laps on each, really, didn't we? But 35.4 on your Superbike, that's going some, isn't it? Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, you know, first couple of laps on the Superbike, it felt so alien because you jump on a road bike, soft, road suspension, everything's moving, chassis, forks are less rigid, tyres are less rigid, as you know, a big slick is much more rigid, much less movement. So jumping on it, I was like, oh, I was struggling for a couple of laps to go maybe even as quick as what the 39.0 when you're over the slicks, and certainly the Superstock time. And then you're like, right, stop stressing about the time, go and ride the Superbike how you do it. And then it started to come naturally. The Superbike comes into its own in the 35 bracket and down. The 34s, 35s, the bike feels amazing. When you're riding the Superbike in the 36, 37 zone, they don't feel great because they are so rigid, but they're not made to go 2 seconds off the pace. These bikes are made to perform and to win.
You have to be riding at 100% to get the benefit or the maximum out of it.
And if you don't do that, you're stuck in like the murky area. But you know, I was panicking, thinking, do I prefer the road bike? I can't say it's a team have spent a lot of money on the Superbike. I do prefer the Superbike. It just takes you to go to that level. So I don't know. Like, I'm really interested to hear your opinion on them all, because you're obviously riding the Superbike at a very similar pace than the Superstock and the road bike, and you know,
we'll gloss over that bit.
what do you feel like? What do you feel like on the Superbike at that pace? Do you feel it's rigid, or did you really think it was impressive?
It's hard to say. So we got half a dozen laps on each, possibly more, just one or two more. But for me, and the times are here, I was faster on the road bike than I was on the Superstock bike and the Superbike. The Superstock and the Superbike, there's a tenth in it. That's the difference.
Maybe you were scared to crash the Superbike as
That's
well.
it.
That there's always a second or two in that.
I spoke to halves, straight afterwards, and you know, when you're not familiar with these bikes, you're into a grey area for sure, and you're nervous as hell trying to get used to it, get familiar with it. What do you want to say? I'm making all these excuses. It's like I'm playing golf or something, isn't it?
Gonna write them down here.
What dawned on me, and I had the benefit of riding the older Superbike, the one that Xavi and your brother raced a couple of years ago, and I noticed a big difference between that Superbike and this Superbike, and the fact that this was so much more. It's easier to ride.
Power character is really nice in this. Maybe better than the road bike and the Stocker. I think the Superbike comes into its own.
Yeah, it is, especially with the gearing. I think that's certainly beneficial. And of course, on the Superbike, you've got that gearbox, haven't you, which has no neutral, or it's right at the bottom. And it means that that throttle connection and the lively brakes and the you have no. Because you're on a circuit, you don't have that suspension travel. So you become familiar quite quickly. But it's getting any form of benefit at my level. Any form of benefit out of that Superbike is I'm going to need days and days on that, and I'm still going to be. If I get within 11 seconds of you on a Superbike,
that's why.
what I'm doing.
Like I said, after riding them, in Qatar, I thought the bike was impressive in road trim with slick tyres, and in Andalusia way back last year. Pre-lockdown, the first lockdown, and like after spending a day here, if I was a track day goer, I would honestly be looking at buying like a modern 1000cc, like the Fireblade, that is clearly fast, road tyres if you want, or race tyres, and doubling up on that bike. You don't need to go, I'll buy a road bike and I'll buy a track bike, because you're going faster on the road bike than a slight upgrade into a Stocker and even more upgrade into a Superbike. So it's like it kind of covers both areas. You know, you can, if you're happy to ponder along and ride here, then do your racing and then ride back. You can do it on the same bike, and I think that's what the new Fireblade's so impressive. In-road trim, how it handles it. It feels like I remember riding an old 1000cc of a different brand, you know, many years ago, and I was like, oh, it's horrible. I didn't like it, and this is like totally different.
Yeah, it's certainly the difference between the road bike and the Superstock and the Superbike were a lot closer than I was expecting them to be.
But you know why that is, don't you?
Because there's so much of each on the road
So
bike.
much on, so like the Superbike, even last year, you know, we put it down to COVID, lack of testing. You know, this year we've had lots of testing. We're working with Suter and swinging arms and different things, and we're still continuing to do that. We haven't closed doors, but we're yet to find from a chassis, as in the Lincoln swinging arm, you know, and I hope to find, because there is some improvement I want to find. It doesn't mean what I have is not good. What I have is very good, but I am on the road bike link, the road bike swinging arm. It won 3 races, 4. Did Andrew win 3 last year? Yeah, so, and I won 1. It won 4 races in BSB last year in that trim.
Does that play with you? Do you think, I know that it's a road link in there, do you think, it should be better than that? Or can you feel the difference? Do you?
It makes me proud. So I know Superbike racing all across the world, you can always develop from the road bike. I've really fell on my feet with this team. I love how the team works. I love how the brand works. You know, the whole Honda thing, you know, yes, it's corporate, it's different, it's disciplined, it's structured. It works for me. So I've sort of fell in love with the brand already. And, you know, I might say I feel part of this new bike. I'm involved in the development, you know, particularly in Britain. And to be able to be still carrying characters of the road bike and major components, I want to be able to tell people this road bike is great, and the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
In saying that, yes, we need to find a little bit of edge grip. The edge grip's good, it can win races last year, but to match our rivals, so we will look at further in them areas, but right now, I'm yet to find better, and that's just the truth.
And it's amazing how close they've become. Again, referring back to that thing that I did a couple of years ago, the difference between the road bike then and the Superbike then, and now the Superbike's improved, but the road bikes are so much closer. It's let's move on. We've got the data trace here. Look, of your lap and my, or your best lap and my best lap, and we could spend another half an hour talking about this. But just
you'll end up getting my job then, because you'll work out what I'm doing. You can multitask.
All the secrets.
Rider on journo. I could maybe do that.
So as we come along over the start finish line onto our best laps, you're already carrying almost 10 miles an hour more speed over the start finish line.
Yeah.
That's obviously confidence coming out of the last corner, isn't it? Through Deer's Leap, knowing that where to shift.
Confidence and experience, Michael. Like the thing with these bikes is, it's not about hanging on to every gear. I come out of that last corner, I'm second, third, fourth before you know it, because it's usable. You're making the bike more friendly, and
got a lot of
you have less wheelie, less. You can have moments here. We've seen it before. You know, John Laverty had a huge crash here. It's a straight with a hill and a kink. It can catch you out. So you want the bike to be calm. That allows you to get the full throttle. So I'm probably got the full throttle earlier because I've did different things than you to get there. So you're maybe hanging on to second, third.
You're probably setting up your start finish straight pace going into the
before I get
corner.
that last corner. Yeah, it's all Superbikes is all apex, so I try to catch a late apex, get the thing up under the fat part of the tyre, get up the gears, make it friendly, and then use the power.
So, like I said, we could sit here all day and have a look at this. But
I know what bit you want to get to.
Yeah, I'm going to move this along so where the red line, that's me, gets close to the green line. In fact, there's a little bit there, look, where the red line overtakes the green line by 2.2 miles an hour faster.
Yeah, we're on Cascades.
It is Cascades, so maybe I'm just on the gas a little bit sooner. But equally, for the remainder of that entire corner, you're already, you're carrying.
What we're seeing at Cascades is coming down in. I'm probably leaving the inside curb more than you, so coming further away from the curb, more of a stop, turn, and mid corner. Then I'm up, fire it out. So I'm probably able to get the full gas earlier on exit.
Because it's there, it's at that point, which is, it's over that crest, isn't it? There's a crest there.
That's going to help me this weekend, because you're way too close to me there for what I want.
I'll take some of your winnings when you stand in here on Sunday.
Honestly, I'm stopping it too much.
But here, So that's that. We're looking at the part on the straight where there is a crest.
Coming up the island bend, fourth gear, flat out.
And you can see, and the evidence is very, very clear. Where is it now? There. So we're not even got to Island Bend yet, and I'm already almost off the power.
Yeah, so you're reaching 138 mile an hour, whereas I'm reaching 148. Yeah. So, yeah, but without that, if you held on the throttle...
No, that's 20 miles an hour difference. 128 versus 149.
Okay, yeah. But if you hung along the throttle as long as me, then to be honest, you probably... I think you did get cascades better than me.
Yes! That's going on my gravestone.
I'm going to go P1 in Sector 1 tomorrow because Michael Mann has just taught me how to ride a Superbike. Honestly, I'm not too content with the job I've done there. Fair play, honestly.
This is where I knew I was letting myself down. That's Island Bend, isn't it? That left-hander before Shell, right? Yeah. So I know I was going in there too slow, and then it was almost a case of, oh, there's more corner, right? I best carry on. I'll do a bit more accelerating.
But again, you've come out quite strong. You end up sort of matching me in exit.
But then again, you're teaching me a hell of a line around Shell. I was always far too tight here, and almost made it into such a long bank corner. When you're on a Superbike, like you've said, you just need to get in, get it thing stood up and go again.
Yeah, like if you're on a 600, your line would be perfect. And to be honest, Jason and Taz and any Yamaha rider will probably do the line you're doing, but our bike likes to be, if you imagine how Shaky rode, I always likened it to that.
Right.
Open, if you picture his line at Shell, high and wide, turn, upright. You know, so you're more of this.
Come to a point.
Rather than like a 2P, you're more like you can 50p it a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's why you see at Shell, you are faster than me mid-corner, because you're railing, but where you're continuing to rail, you can't get on the gas because you're still leaned over. I've turned maybe in the middle of the corner.
So I was conscious that when you come out of there, there's that again. It's off camber, isn't it?
Yeah, which again, Michael, is probably why it's more important to do it how we're doing it. Because when I get to that area, I've turned, I'm heading out of the corner upright, so I can cope with that. If you're still trying to finish it leaned over, track starts to drop away. You're in the danger zone.
And we've seen that plenty of times.
Yeah, a lot of times there.
Coming into now, what's this? Is it Britain's? Is it?
Britain's first chicane, yeah.
So where are we? Again, a nadgery corner, isn't it? You've kind of got to almost straight line those first two bits, and then get round the right, and then up the left without going too far wide, because that's grass and that's danger. And then you've got that crest. It's a really complex corner, isn't it? Or set of corners.
Absolute handful to control the wheelie. And I think any Superbike is the same now.
We're looking at road bike laps here, but were you using the rear brake on the road bike?
Oh, yeah. Now, to be fair, with the road bike, what I did say, it has the electronic. So you have the anti-wheelie was kicking in, and it was a bit of I still touched the rear brake, but probably more out of habit. I think the standard ECU that comes with it was doing a really, really great job and made life easier. When we come there in the Superbike, all that is off. Oh, it is a nightmare. And this is, to be honest, we do struggle a little bit with wheelie on the new Fireblade. And it's not that we struggle any more than others. I think some of the bikes that we're racing against, the Ducati and the V4, the character is very, very smooth, less of a wheelie bike. So this is an area where I have to, myself, make more effort to reduce the deficit in this area. So the road bike was a dream to ride, and then you take off the electronics and it's like, bloody hell, this is tough work.
It becomes very physical. And you use a thumb brake, don't you? A push thumb brake.
Everywhere. If you've seen my data for the thumb brake, which we looked at, at the media event, it's never off. And again, I was Shaky's teammate before. I always refer to him because I learned so much from him. I think he got on the bike in FP1, put his thumb on the brake, put some run seal or super glue or something, and it didn't come off. That is your best friend on a Superbike. It's your only form of control.
So you're using that almost as your throttle. So are you pinning that and then
you're playing with both. This is conscious. You can stop mid-corner spin with this. You can stop wheelie. You can go into a corner, release the front brake. Oh, I'm still going too quick. Engine braking will help you slow down, but you can't change that. You're already on the bike. Yeah, electronic engineer, he's in the garage.
Yeah.
I'll apply the rear brake, turn in. So our rear brake is, put it like this, if I go out of pit lane, all teams will get this at some point. Thumb brake's not working. We've all had it. The boys, best mechanics in the world, and you go out, thumb brake's not working, needs bled again or something. I come in straight away, can't ride. You know, unbelievable, unbelievable.
Wow. And then it's pretty much the same story throughout the rest of the lap. There's the red line here. It looks like a spider's crawled across the page, whereas your green line is much smoother. It's much more predictable.
So we've went into Hizzies and we've went right. We've went left, but immediately after the left is Knickerbrook, which is a very important corner.
Yes.
So important to get out of there because you climb the whole way over Clay Hill and you don't really hit the brakes until Druids. So you've went into the left, carried more speed through the left, but you're now going to be tighter into Knickerbrook.
But look at me coming through the right. Look how slow I am on the right.
But this is because you've too fast on the left, so you're having to slow up way too much because you can't get back. You can't open Knickerbrook up because you've chased time one corner too early. Yeah. If you sacrificed the left, opened up Knickerbrook, you gain time the whole way to Druids. You gain time until you hit the brakes. So
important stuff.
You're going to be good next time you're here,
wow.
aren't you?
If I'm not, I've got myself to blame. It's the same throughout. Look, it's just you making sure the corner is correct in order to get the pace out of it.
The times where our GPS speeds come closest are always in mid-corner. And this is where I'm coming down slower because I'm thinking I'll exit. So when we're accelerating, our lines are separating so much. So the reason they're coming close is I'm trying to slow down. Me going to a slower mid-corner is probably you going to your normal, you're not thinking about going too slow in that area. So we're meeting, and then I've done everything about corner exit, so then we separate.
Dramatically, yeah. In some cases here, look, so we're going up Cascades, isn't it?
Clay Hill, yeah, Clay Hill.
Yeah. But yeah, and then the rest of the lap is, actually look, that's not too shabby coming out of the last corner.
You've actually done a really good job again there.
Where's that? That is on that dip, isn't it? As you go down Deer Leap, and then up and over the start-finish line.
Yeah, you've got on the gas quite good out of the last corner. Really, really good, to be fair.
So there it is, a 55.7 for me, and that compares to your 44.7. I'd like to just state that you did 7 laps and I did 5, so that's obviously the reason why.
Another one.
Thank you, Glenn. Thanks for teaching me. I hope that I can watch this film back again next time I come to Oulton Park. Good luck for the season, and thank you very much.
And yeah, no, it'd be good to have a little blast, wouldn't it? And see if you can put it all into practice.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, definitely. Look forward to that. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you're going to be brilliant around Oulton Park now. And we'll see you next time. Cheers. And I'm going to give you my address for that whiskey.
Yeah, I know where it's meant to